Welcome to Fergus Falls, home of the state's largest otter, maybe the world's largest otter, and welcome to Otter Tail County, home to over 1,000 lakes, some without broadband services. My name is Darrell Ecker. I'm the Network Operations Manager for Park Region Telephone Companies. That is Park Region Mutual Telephone Cooperative in Underwood, Valley Telephone in Browns Valley, Minnesota and South Dakota, and Otter Tail Telecom, the CLEC operation here in Fergus Falls. We provide services including voice services, long distance, internet access, wireless services including wireless broadband and unlicensed spectrum, wireless in the home. We provide Ethernet services. We provide IPTV over broadband services. We provide phone systems to businesses. We also provide network support to businesses. So we have a wide variety of services we offer. We understand the frustration of the rural communities with the lack of broadband access. We hear it every day because we are local, and we are providers within the city of Fergus Falls. However, in the rural areas, it is very hard to do that. We were among the first to bring dial-up internet services to this area, and we continue to try to provide broadband services to the most customers as possible. There are, however, some challenges to delivering broadband services ubiquitously. And I understand that is the challenge that you are looking at. Some of those challenges are, penetration is a part of that challenge. The number of customers in the areas. However, the biggest challenge is that rural areas require large expenditures of capital. We have some examples of areas where we tried to reach, in fact, within a half a mile of the city limits of Fergus Falls. A little pocket where there was some pent-up demand. We looked at providing service to them, and we thought we could do that fairly inexpensively because we had backbone support infrastructure not that far from this pocket. We took a look at it, we ran it through our engineering department. It turned out to be between $25,000 and $40,000 to provide service to 6 homes. It's hard to make a business case even with 100% penetration on that. So at that time we had to back away from that. We had another instance where we had a doctor wanting to buy a house in a rural area here, not far from where our services are, again, within 1.5 miles of our services. By the time we looked at providing him with a broadband connection, his cost was going to be $18,000 just to get the drop into his house, a fiber to the home drop to his house. So we had another $30,000 invested in the infrastructure to reach that area. That's just an example of the cost of providing broadband services to rural areas. We have going through the process of the economic stimulus for broadband exercise. I'll call it an exercise at this point because we're not sure where we stand on all of that. We identified some projects in this area where we thought we could deliver fiber to the home at a reasonable rate. And we found that by putting all of our numbers together, one of our projects passed 189 homes at a cost of almost $3,000 per home. That's per home, that's not per service, that's not per subscriber, that is per home passed. Another project had 151 homes passed at over $2,700 per subscriber, per home passed. Those are exorbitant costs, and it's hard to justify and build business cases based on those. Our opinion is that perhaps where we need to be is in some type of a universal service fund similar to how Park Region and Valley Telephone built their voice networks. Voice networks were supported by the Universal Service Fund for the high-cost areas. Today, broadband is not supported underneath the Universal Service Fund. However, perhaps that needs to be expanded. It's not the task of your group, but it is a possibility that the federal government needs to look at expanding those services, or we need to come up with some statewide Universal Service Fund. Cooperatives between government and private sector are excellent opportunities. However, sometimes, as some of you may know, it's not always the best to have the government in your business. That's just a personal note. But we have, however, had some cooperative efforts here in Fergus Falls. The city of Fergus Falls is looking for a wide area network to support their multiple locations. They were looking at going to an RFP to build their own network, their own fiber network. They also considered an RFP for services, of which Otter Tail Telecom was able to provide to them a design for a metro optical Ethernet to all their locations and provided 200 megabit to each of their locations at a cost very, very comparable to what they were looking to do on building their own network. Because the city was willing to look at those services and purchase services as opposed to building their own, that network became available to other industries and users in the city of Fergus Falls. The high school, the Fergus Falls School District, has a network tying 5 of their buildings together. They have a gig port to their school, they have 200 megabit to each of their outlying schools, and they have a redundant network. We have an ACS company out in town, Affiliated Computer Services, that we deliver DS3 across a redundant fiber network to that building, so they have internet services for their operation. They are a Fortune 500 company that does a lot of network support for large companies. We have also provided that network to other businesses, such as we have an industrial business in town that has 2 separate buildings. We tie them together with an Ethernet connection. That Ethernet connection provides them with the ability to have voice services and data services across that network between buildings to operate more efficiently. Those are great success stories. They're all in town. It's easy in town. One other issue that enters into the being able to provide those services is competition. Competition is good, don't get me wrong. But in an area like an urban area inside, such as the city of Fergus Falls, competition tends to dilute the customer base. Customer base, then the revenues that you derive from those customers decreases. That revenue is the money that you will reinvest in your infrastructure to extend your network. So without that capital, it's hard to extend your network. At this time, I really don't have a lot of other things to comment on. I just wanted to bring those to you, that I really think that the proper direction. I'm not going to talk about what broadband is, because I should also point out that in the Park Region Telephone Exchange and the Browns Valley Telephone Exchange, we have 100% coverage of broadband in rural areas. Again, universal service one. We can afford to do that. We built the voice network and the broadband rise voice network. We are progressing on fiber to the home. That is our goal, and we will meet that goal as capital allows. At this time, I would like to end my comments, and I appreciate your time, and thank you for